Hi guys, and it's time at long last to introduce you to my little classic. There's some 13-inch lattice alloy wheels there. So here we go, the reveal. Yes, it's a Rover Metro 1988 Mark II in Pulsar silver. And I haven't quite got a garage for it, but it's nice and safe and dry underneath this gazebo. So here we are. It's a Mark II. You can tell the difference straight away on the bumpers. They're wraparound one-piece plastic, whereas there were a three-piecer on the Mark 1s. So you had corner caps with metal bumpers front and back. So I've had quite a bit of work done to this car. We've sprayed the lower half, the bonnet, and the lower front and back flanks of the car. And as we go around to the back of the car now and reveal the model. So it's a lowly L model. We've actually got headrests in this one, which is good. And this is 1988, so we've lost the Austin badge because Rover are now fully in charge. And we're not Austin Rover, we're Rover now. So this is one of the last ones like this in 88. They're getting ready for their K-Series engine to be launched. And they were going to pop that into this little engine bay here. And I've had a lot of work done with the rubbers front and back on the windows. They've just had a new screen. I've done a lot of work to this. It's not a concours car. I've been around cars that are concours. There's a guy called Tom Morley, who's the president of the Metro Owners Club. And if you look at his cars there, and this looks good. This is probably 8 out of 10, but his are 10, 11 out of 10. They're unbelievable. So one of the reasons I bought this car was because its overall condition, there wasn't any rust on it. And the interior is not far off how it was in 1988. That lovely one-piece plastic dash. I've added some embroidered mats here as well, just to give it a bit of personality. When people are looking through the windows, it shows, it just highlights which model it is. There's nothing to say on the car that it's a Mark II. So launched in 1980, released to the public for good or bad in 1981, right the way through to 97 when it was known as the Rover 100. So it had about 3 or 4 names, but this one, another reason why I bought it was come and check out this mileage. Come and check it out. 32,735 over 34 years. It's not even done 1,000 a year. It was off the road for a little while. Typical, one old boy owned it before me, then another hobbyist I think got hold of it and did a few jobs to it, but then we've taken it to the next level. So the engine standard 1300 or 1275 A-series engine in there, which thunders along. Upgrades are the alloys, because they were on the original metrics. On the original, I don't know what happened with the stick there. Bit of a crazy moment, must be too much sun. It was on the original 315 metrics, which you can't get anymore, and if you can, they're 20 years old, and I'd cover a lot of miles going to shows and stuff with this. So we switched to the 13-inch lattice alloys, which you would have got on the GTA and the Mark II Metro. It just gives you more availability with the tyres, and I just wanted something safe on the motorway. So I take the friends and the wife out on this. It's got to be safe as a Metro can be. We keep a sort of bit of information about the car. They take you back to 1988, what was going on in the year back then. Eddie the Eagle takes to the skies, and a pint of lager was 98 pence, and a gallon of petrol was £1.72. Average house price was 60k. It just gives you a bit of a snapshot of the year, takes people back, and that's the history of the car, basically where it's all come from and what I've planned to do with it. We've beefed up the exhaust a bit. So what we've got here is a 2-box Manaflow exhaust, which makes the car breathe a hell of a lot better, and it definitely runs smoother. And obviously we've got the Posh petrol in there. I call it Posh petrol. The E5 we put in, super unleaded. I'm not going near the E10 on this. It's just it's starting to replace lots of parts. So at the moment it's happy. You know, it does 2,000 or 3,000 a year, and it's pretty frugal. It is 35 to 40 a gallon, so it doesn't hurt my pocket too much. That's why I love this little car. People say, why a Metro? Why don't you get something else? Get something more classic? I go, well, I think the idea is to have fun with a classic car. It's a hobby at the end of the day. It shouldn't be a chore. I don't want something that's 5 litres, you know. Especially with the petrol prices these days. This car unlocks me so many doors to classic car shows and really prestigious events, because a lot more now are sort of saying pre-1992. They want to be of a certain age, because people are turning up in 10-year-old cars, and that's certainly not classic in anyone's eyes. So this has got me into all sorts of places. It's even, wait for it, got me on TV. So earlier this year, 2022 I should say, 2022, I featured on a series called Secrets of the Transport Museum, about Brooklands Museum. It was on the Yesterday channel. Series 2, episode 3, if you look online. And I did a day's filming there. Filmed in my yard, preparing the car. And then I filmed alongside Sarah Crabtree of Bangers of Cash, who's a lovely lady, really friendly, exactly as she is on the telly, very approachable, smiley, funny, giggly, cheeky, the lot, and obviously a classic car fan. So she actually judged my car during the owners' day there at Brooklands, and members owners I should say, and this got a lot of footage, as did I, which I was quite surprised about. We got a lot of footage in a 1 hour programme, and this car heavily featured on it. So this little car was chosen for that. I wanted something a little bit different, you know, something you don't see very much of. I can tell you right now, every show I take this to, it has crowds around it, and the car next to me is normally worth 5, 6, 7 times more than what this is, and there's a crowd around this every time. It's one of those that you may have passed your test in. A lot of kids sort of 25 and younger don't even know what it is, they've never seen one. So it brings back a lot of memories, you know. So I passed my test in one in 1987, June. It was in a Mark II, funnily enough, and it wasn't as good as this. It was battered with all the learner drivers in it. Look at the back, I don't think anyone's ever sat in there. But she's all very tidy, and I love it to bits. I just like something a bit different at a show, and unless you're at a dedicated British Leyland Day show, or Mini and Metro Day, you'll be often, I'll find I'm the only one there. I think that's why it gets a crowd around it. Anyway, I hope you've liked the introduction to my little car. I absolutely love it. It's a head turner. It's not a car, if you want to get into classic car motoring and you're a bit of a shy person, you don't like sort of maybe talking to people so much, don't get one of these. Because every time you go out for lunch anywhere, there will be someone taking a picture of it, someone coming up to talk to you about it as you get out of the car, people waving at you, thumbs up, everything. Predominantly, the response to this car is favourable, rather than people, you know, turning their nose up at it. It gets far more positive comments than negative comments. I think when a car gets to this age, and you don't see them on the road anymore, when people go on about the rust and all that stuff, I think you come out the other side, because anything that's left on the road now is generally in this sort of condition, because it's got to get through the MOTs, and if it's got loads of rust gaps on it where you can cut your hands on it, it's not going to pass an MOT. Whereas, you know, 10 years ago you still saw loads of these on the road all covered in rust, but you don't anymore. They're normally in the hands of enthusiasts, crazy nutters like me. That would have been its first Texas, look at that, 1989. So that gives people a snapshot again. I'm in the Metro Owners Club, and a member at Brooklands as well, which is only, as I said, 4 miles down the road from here in Walton-on-Thames in Surrey. So we're there at least 2 or 3 times a month, quite well known there now. But yeah, so that's an introduction to my car. This will be overseeing things in Paul's yard, as we invite guests to come, friends to come with their cars, and they're going to be parking up right here. And we have one, the next video will be this car here. If you know British little sports cars, if you look at the wheels, some of you will know exactly what that is already, even by the silhouette. So the next video will be about that, which is a shameless advert for a friend who's wanted to replace it with another version of this car, a slightly rarer edition. So thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe, share, comment, like, do what you want with it. Just tell your friends about my channel. It will be all about classic cars, modern classics, old classics. Not a tinkering channel, at all. This is all going to be about the cars, the story of the owners, why they've chosen it, why they still want to keep a classic car going. Do modern cars not quite cut it for them these days? They are a bit boring, aren't they? They are a bit samey. We've all got one. So it's all going to be about the stories of the owners and their cars, and the journeys they go on, and where they've been on them, and some of the other cars they've owned, really. We've got cars, bikes, trucks, everything. You wait and see. So I hope you're going to enjoy this channel, and we've got lots for you to see. See you soon. Thanks for watching.